Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti.
And don't you just love how I brought in our studio audience today? Those are my friends and family, y'all. They're here to clap it up and celebrate this great girlfriend magic that is happening here on the show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy.
Friends, hey there. I am so excited because summer is fast approaching, and I just feel like the season changed me. We're going to get to be outside a little more, enjoy each other just a bit more, hug one or two people again, all the good things that make my life feel good. So, hey there. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm so excited, as usual. No guests today, just me and you in a very intimate, friendly setting, as we have done for so many years. I hope you're feeling good in your soul. I hope you're feeling happy about being you. I hope you're feeling optimistic about what's ahead. I hope you're in the zone. I hope you're feeling supported and surrounded, because we are 6 months to the close of 2021, believe it or not. And this year has felt quite different from last year. I've told you all how last year was, it was a horror year. Of course, it was one for all of us. And with me, losing my father was just a center point of that year. And I really shouldn't say losing my father, because my father is indeed not lost. He sits in a very, very deep, intimate, and emotional place in my heart forever, ever, ever. Him transitioning to heaven was hard. It was hard, and I dealt with it aggressively and went through the bouts of depression and lots of transitions that came along with that. And also knowing that the covering, that real, that shelter that a dad provides it's gone. It feels a little vulnerable. I felt a little vulnerable, a lot of vulnerable, to be very honest, and naked. But things have recovered. I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. And I wanted to get in here, just me and you, just us great girlfriends, to talk to the one of you who feels like quitting. I know around this time last year, I was in that same space. And a lot of times, you go through life and you have projects and you have, responsibilities. We as women, we have a list of things, so many, many things that we feel obligated to get done or to accomplish or to achieve. We're so aspirational, which can be a great thing, but can also be a danger to our contentment. And it can also be a danger to, our mental balance and our harmony and our peace. And so I came on today because I wanted to intercept the great girlfriend who is in the middle of a quit. And this is for you, great girlfriend, who feels like, maybe the dream is too far off. Maybe the marriage is impossible. Maybe having babies is out of the picture. Maybe the career is just not for you. Maybe buying a home is too far-fetched. As you feel like things are too hard. You feel like things are too complicated. You feel like there's too many line items. There's too long a punch list, your credit score is too low, or your weight is too heavy. All the things, the twos, I'm too this and I'm not enough this, or this is too this, or that's not enough this, or this will never be. All of those statements, those sentences that we tell ourselves. And these are the things that we talk about, between us and us, great girlfriends. A lot of us are showing up real strong for our great girlfriends. We're having one conversation with our friends. And maybe you are having this conversation intimately with your friends. I'm not really sure. But I'm talking about the inner talk. I'm talking about the inner conversations, the things that you drive and you talk about, you think through, the stuff that you're saying to yourself late at night. I'm talking about the conversations that are happening in those intimate, quiet moments, those moments where we really should be reassuring ourselves. But in that moment of reassurance, so many of us are deflating our possibility balloon. And so I wanted to come on today to intercept the quitter because, like many of you, I have those days, I have those moments where I think of quitting. So many of the things that I'm working on now just feel like they are about 10 years off. And maybe they're one or two phone calls or emails or decisions away. But in my mind, I place all these obstacles. None of these obstacles are even there, right? They're not even real true obstacles. So I place these obstacles in front of my dream. And part of me thinks that that's sabotage, that my way of sabotaging my dreams keeps me safe. And I know many of you may have been in a place where you're like, you know what? If I tell myself that these things are too far off or impossible, I'll stay in this comfortable place and I'll be safe. And the danger of safety, the danger of the comfort zone is that you're missing out on all the fullness that lies in the abundance of your potential. The fullness that lies in the abundance of your potential. It's the sweet zone of life. It really is. It's the zone that allows for, all of the world's greatest athletes and superstars and artists and businessmen and businesswomen and politicians and religious leaders and whomever else, poets and I can go on and on. That's the zone where they've learned how to disregard the sabotage, the saboteurs, those negative thoughts. They've learned how to disregard the fear. They learned how to push through, and they've decided that they'd rather spend their life in a curious quest for the abundance that is sitting out there than to stay safe and complacent and ultimately unfulfilled. And so I don't want that to be you. If you're a listener of this podcast, if you're a part of the Great Girlfriend community, you know that we are going after the supercharged relationships, supercharged life, supercharged experiences. We're going after the best, God's best and highest, and we're going after our fullest, highest, best intent and potential at all times. Having said that, we're going to have to push through those moments of I'm not enough and I will never be loved, right? We're going to have to push through those moments of this is too hard and I don't have enough. Or we're going to have to push through those moments of I can't and I'm tired and I'm hurt and I'm abandoned and I feel alone in this process and I need more resources. We're going to have to push through those moments, and we're going to have to drive ourselves into the realm of uncertainty. That realm of uncertainty of do I have opens us up to a gateway of yes, I do. Over the course of the last 5 years on this show, I have had the pleasure of interviewing, I think I can safely say hundreds of people who have all made it to different levels of success, or who have reached different goals, or who have overcome obstacles. And they have all asked themselves the same key questions, and they've made the same choices in their minds and their hearts, and they've activated a different level of belief. A different level of belief that has enabled them to place themselves at a different level of intention. And that with that different level of intention, they've been able to operate at a different level of action. And at a different level of action, they've been able to experience a different level of results. And that growth zone, that higher, more ambitious, committed, relentless growth zone has given them the ability to say things get better with time and with progress, but you cannot quit. And I can say the same thing because I've been, again, on the edge of quitting so many times. Even with Great Girlfriends, I find myself saying, you know what? I want to reach millions of women, and the hundreds of thousands that we've reached, and we've reached over 1 million downloads, but that's not the point. The point is I want to reach millions, more than millions of women, and I want to touch as many lives around the globe as possible. And I feel like, with every podcast, I am only hoping that I can touch a woman who is on the brink of feeling one way, and I can turn her into a more upward, more positive direction. But sometimes it's tiring to record. Sometimes it's tiring to show up when, maybe an intern hasn't shown up, or an employee for another business is not able to do something, and I have to fill in the gaps or get someone else to fill in the gaps. And you got a conference to plan and all the things, Great Girlfriends, all the things. I mean, and even in marriage and parenting and having life going on at the same time, the things become overwhelming. But I've got a few questions that I've laid out that I want to help you walk through. There's 4 questions, that I think can help you whenever you reach that juncture where you're like, do I turn back? Do I stop here? Or do I move forward? You can move forward. I'm not going to say you're not going to move forward unscathed, right? Of course, there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way, but you can move forward. And these 4 questions are going to help you to reset your mind when you feel like it's the time for you to just, turn the lights off and walk in the other direction and just quit. All right. So here's question number one. Question number one, when you are thinking of quitting, you want to ask yourself, what am I leaving behind? What am I leaving behind? So many times we have in our mind all the things that will keep us safe, but we never stop to think of all of the great benefits of what will happen when I move outside of my comfort zone. Right? What are you leaving behind? What legacy are you leaving behind? What successes are you leaving behind? What experiences, what feelings of joy, what recognition, what impact? What are the things that you're leaving behind when you quit? Maybe you've been writing a book like me for 20 gazillion years. And every time I put the pen down, I recognize that I'm leaving behind a part of my story. And each day I get to write new chapters with experiences, yes. But at the same time, every time I quit in the process, I recognize that I am leaving behind the experience or fulfillment of sharing my story. What are you leaving behind? If you quit on that business today, what are you leaving behind? If you quit on that relationship, what are you leaving behind? If you leave that career, what are you leaving behind? Not to say that you're not going to have circumstances that come your way. Absolutely, yes, you will. You will get pushed beyond every single one of your boundaries and limits. Some things are to push you to make you grow. Others are for you to check your standards, right? But when you do get those moments, what are you leaving behind if you just surrender to all the circumstances? Question number 2. How will quitting help me reach my goals? Now, that is a completely rhetorical question. How will quitting help me reach my goals? It won't help you reach your goals, but you got to ask yourself that question. If you are an ambitious woman, like I know you are, if you are very goal-oriented and you are driven by, merit and really, really seeing yourself experience crossing the finish line each time, then how will quitting help you to have those moments of fulfillment of reaching your goals? It won't. It won't. It's only going to slow you down. But you got to ask that yourself and understand that you're really backing yourself into a corner when you do. Number 3, what will happen if I surrender to my fear every time? All right, because fear comes 7, 10, 20, 30, 50 times a day? There's always going to be a fear that creeps around the corner every single time you decide to move in faith. Every single time you say you're going to trust yourself, there's going to be a thought, a memory, something of the sort to try to put you back into a place of comfort, of safety, and complacency. So if you surrender to your fear every single time, you'll find yourself starting, stopping. And that dance that you do is going to leave you right at the start point. And it's going to make you feel like you're never, ever capable of finishing anything. You are capable of finishing. You are capable of experiencing the fulfillment. You are capable of making it happen. But you have got to bypass the fear. What do you need to tell yourself about the fear in order to move in faith? What do you need to tell yourself? You got to ask yourself, what do I need to tell myself? There's got to be a statement. There's got to be a mantra. There has to be an affirmation. There's to be something that you remind yourself about the fear. I know for years people were saying fear is false evidence appearing real. And that works. It is true. It's an optical illusion. I tell myself it's trying to keep me from my destiny, and it angers me to think that that's true. And every single time I've had to tell myself that, you better believe Sybil goes into overdrive. It's a wrap at that point, because nothing's going to keep me from what I know has been predestined for me, right? I'm not going to let fear do it. I'm not going to let false evidence appearing real, the optical illusion, take away what I know is real and true. And I'm going to believe enough about what's on the inside of me, my capacity, than I will believe about the fears that are fake. Right? So that fourth question is, who do I need to add to my success lifeline in order to beat this fear? You've got to have a lifeline of people, great girlfriends, mentors, advocates, sponsors, allies, supporters, people that won't allow you to surrender to your fears. I just recently had a call with a great girlfriend. I was on LinkedIn, minding my LinkedIn business, and I got a DM or a direct message about an opportunity at a company that looked really, really good. And when I say this job description was just everything, it just says, Sybil, come take this job on it, right? That's what it said. It said, Sybil, come take this job. I know that sounds crazy, but it said, Sybil, come take this job because it sounds so good and it sounds like you. And you could get in there, girl, you can crush that. And without even consulting with my spirit, without even double checking, I just said, ooh, this one sounds good. And I go through these moments where I'm like, you know what? I just want to jump back into corporate and take a really swanky job and have this really, really dope title and just go out here and gloss up and change the world, right? And she said, well, how will doing that support the media career that you're building? She asked me that one question. She asked that one question, great girlfriends, and that one question reminded me to stick to what I know is true and real and evident for me, and not quit on my dreams and not allow myself to get derailed and sidetracked by opportunities, because it's not always obstacles, great girlfriends. Sometimes it's opportunities. Sometimes the grass looks greener on the other side and it's so glossy and it looks so fresh and ripe and it looks so easy that you just want to leap into it. But without knowing for sure what is set aside for you or what you're capable of or what you're worthy of going after, you'll find yourself surrendering to these things. So when she asked me that question, it immediately checked me in my spirit. And I knew just by the way that I felt from her asking me that question that this opportunity was a really, really beautiful, swanky, lovely opportunity, but it wasn't for me. And I had to pass up this opportunity in order to stay on the track that I designed to be on, which may not be as swanky as times, may have a little more bumps and bruises. It may be more aggressive, but it's a track that has been designed for me. And if I don't want to be stagnant, if I don't want to be complacent, if I don't want to feel inferior, I have to keep going. You've got to have people on that success lifeline. Those are the people that pad you up and put you back in the ring. Those are the people that remind you, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I know that hurt, but you need to get back in the game. You're going somewhere, you're doing something. This destiny is waiting on you. You have to commit. Those are the ones that won't let you deal with that really, really whack dude because they're like, he is below your standard. I know you might be feeling lonely right now, but don't worry. The right person, the person who's meant to love you and to give you the love and support you need is available. So stop wasting your time with that random dude. Go read a book, go exercise, go on a trip, go enjoy yourself and keep it moving. So every time you think about quitting, you've got to go through a series of checks and balances to make sure that you're not going to surrender to inferiority, that you're not going to surrender to doubt, uncertainty, right? Or even comparison. Because it's very easy for us to find ourselves on Instagram or find ourselves on social media, seeing other people doing things faster, right? So it seems, or more impactful, and wanting to desire or covet what they're doing. And feeling like, well, I'm so far behind, I'm just going to quit. Quitting is not the answer. If for nothing else other than knowing that you've got a whole gift, a whole destiny set aside for you, quitting is only going to leave you wanting more every single time, but feeling like you can never have it. And the distance between wanting and feeling like you're never going to have it is that place of depression, of loneliness, of rejection, of isolation, of shame, all those feelings that don't belong to you. And those are some of the things that quitters go through on a regular basis, just these feelings of I'm ashamed of myself because I knew I had a lot of potential, but I just felt like I couldn't commit, or I feel so inferior, or I feel so isolated. I'm going to keep myself out of different social circles because I don't feel like I belong with those people anymore because I'm not moving and shaking in the way that they're moving and shaking. When in fact, that was your circle, that was your destiny. These are your gifts. You are equipped, but you just have to see it through. Quitting keeps you stagnant, great girlfriends. Quitting makes you feel inferior. Quitting is a complete surrender to the obstacles or circumstances that get in your way. You are so much better than that. I know so many of y'all, and I see your messages in the Facebook group, and I get your DMs on Instagram, and we get your emails about the show and some of the projects that you're working on. And I see you out here moving and shaking. But I know sometimes in your body, in your being, and even after going through COVID and going through 2020, and even the political unrest that we face in this country, and some of you around the world, that you just want to quit. And I just got a message yesterday from a great girlfriend that was so grateful that we had the last episode with Michelle Williams checking in because, Michelle, who's a member of Destiny's Child, talks about all the times that, she was just tired and life was overwhelming and she couldn't explain how being on top of the world, but feeling like it was not enough, made her want to quit. And until she said she needed help, she found herself, at a war. And, the enemy was trying to take all of these beautiful, beautiful gifts from her and was trying to, make her feel that she wasn't worthy of a new chapter, a next chapter, her full destiny. And so last week's episode about, with Michelle about checking in really does reinforce this message that you've got to check in with yourself. You got to check in with God. You got to check in with your great girlfriends. You have to be accountable to your success so that you will never surrender to failure. And whatever you failed at before, whatever that lesson was just a lesson. It was the wisdom, it was the learning, it was the necessary experience that you needed to be able to walk stronger, greater, more equipped, more prepared into this new season or this next decision. Okay? So I don't want you thinking that because you weren't able to do it well before doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do it well today. Learn the lesson, beat the obstacles, move forward. And great girlfriends, remember, every single one of us has quit on something before, has wanted to quit, so you're not alone. Right? You got to remember that. You are absolutely not alone. You're not alone. But what we're here to tell you, those of us who are on the other side of the quit are here to tell you that life is way sweeter, far sweeter on this side. And the fulfillment and the opportunity and the growth and the impact on this side is just, I don't even want to call it magical. It's just beautiful. Because what happens is when I get to see on this side, I'm able to bring you over. I'm able to tell you to cross the bridge from fear to faith. I'm able to pull you into a place of success. And I'm able to tell you that you are a full warrior. You're a champion fighter. So you are capable of moving through this quit season. All right? So listen, great girlfriends, I want you to get up. Ask yourself those questions. Get your journal out. Write about it. Talk about it. Put a list together of great girlfriends who are your success lifeline. Who are my 5 great girlfriends that I know I can tell this to and they can tell me, girl, let me tell you something. I felt that way last week, but I'm getting over it. I'm moving past it. Here's the way I'm going to get past it. Here's how I'm going to support you. Or this is why you can't quit. Right? Who are the people that are going to pray with you? Who are the people that are going to anchor you? Who are the people that are going to get you away from the circumstances and help you to breathe fresh air so that you can move stronger, greater, brighter? Those are the people that you need to put on your success lifeline and keep them in your corner and utilize them as your friends in faith. You got to clear your mind of all the stuff that's really been holding you back. You got to clear your mind. And when you do, the liftoff happens. You'll be more prepared to take flight. So I hope this supports your journey, great girlfriends. I hope you see, feel, know, understand in your being that quitting is not an option. It's not an option. It's not your best option. Your best option is to believe and trust in God and the God in you and trust in yourself and know that the sweetest moments are awaiting you, right? And that you do not want to surrender to your circumstances or your obstacles or your fears because you're bigger, better, and greater than that. All right? So now listen, I want you to save the date, September 24th in New York City. We are coming together for the 6th
annual Doers and Disruptors Conference. I am so freaking excited to be back in person with all of you again. The tickets are going to be available starting next week. So I want to put the buzz in your ear to spread the word that September 24th, we are coming together. I got the best, most amazing great girlfriends joining us as speakers. The experience is going to be warm and lit as usual, right? And we're just going to have what we need. Time to show up for ourselves, time to reset, recharge, time to really, really reconnect with ourselves and with others. So save that date. Be prepared to join us in New York City. Oh, and don't forget to love on yourself in a big way today. You deserve all the love, all the joy, all the peace. So after you do that big love on yourself moment, then shoot a text to one of your great girlfriends and say, girl, I just love you. And I just want you to know that. All right. Peace, great girlfriends.
Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great_GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.